What up? What up? What up? What up? How you doing? How we doing? How we doing, everybody? You feel me? So, for anybody watching this, most likely on the playback, you feel me? This is going to be a new series on the channel. I'm trying to get into streaming more consistently. It's a bit difficult because I think a majority of my audience is from Europe, and the time between Europe and here, it's a bit difficult for me to try to make streams during the afternoon UK time. So I'm doing late night streams my time, and hopefully people watch on the playback. Maybe I could, cut videos from the stream or whatever. But listen, if you're watching on the playback, let me know in the comments. Like the video on the playback. I appreciate it. Big up some dude. You feel me? Big up Marco. Thank you. I appreciate it. And big up Santi. You feel me? Big up Santi. Real still hurts. Yo, big up Jordan. We're gonna speak on that. But yo, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Big up. So today, in this stream, I want the late night streams to be very concise. We're gonna move on to topic from topic. Of course, the chat's always gonna be on screen, so you guys know that I'm reading what's on screen. This isn't gonna be like these late night streams aren't going to be transfer news related. It's gonna be a lot more generally related. I want to also branch out into other content on the channel other than just Chelsea, because I'm a football fan in general, as well as a Chelsea fan. So the first thing that we are going to talk about, yeah, I appreciate it, Jordan. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Super Cup final. All right, so let's talk about the Super Cup final. All right, so obviously, I think we all watched the Super Cup final, right? I think we all watched the Super Cup final. So, I think something that I took away is no, that's true. Something that's true. That's 100% true. All right, Jansen is dead. But what I will say is this: I think that I am surprised at how Thomas Frank got Spurs looking this quickly. But I also think that this is also an indictment on how Ange had the team looking, bro. And I think people could be upset, rightfully so. If you want to be upset, you could be upset about what I'm saying. That's fine. But I think that this Spurs team was probably never as bad as finishing 16th. You feel me? And I think Ange was definitely holding them back. And I think that this game proved it. You feel me? Yo, Staffy, listen. I said that I was going to, listen. I said what I said. You feel me? I said what I said. But yeah, I do think that the Spurs team is gonna be a lot more serious, right? However, this is the flip side. I do think that it takes more than winning one Europa League to erase whatever history of Tottenham that you want to talk about, whatever bottling gene that they have. It takes more than that to build a culture around the club, right? And I think, for example, something that people spoke about a lot is you can, to foster a winning culture, to foster a culture at a club, right? To foster history and heritage at a club, you guys need to be known for something. You can't be known for just winning. Winning isn't necessarily a culture. And I think that was a big thing that, people love to beat Chelsea over the head with. But I think, for example, us now, one of the things that you can say, oh, Chelsea's good at, for example, is anytime we're an underdog in a final, we have something there. So I think Spurs, the Europa was good for them. I do think now that we look back at it and we say, okay, I do think that if United was a bit better of a team, with Tottenham have won, et cetera, et cetera. Regardless, though, I think Spurs went off to a great start. I think, Thomas Frank has them looking dangerous from set pieces, bro. And if you take a look at the team that Tottenham have, right, bro, they have tall players. You feel me? Their players are not short whatsoever. I mean, you're looking at 185 for Romero. I think Van de Ven is also tall as well. 193, right? These guys are tall players, right? So making them look good on set pieces, I think is important. And I think that, Thomas Frank has that down 100%. So again, take nothing away from Spurs. I think that they were the better team for the majority of the game. But again, you can see that in terms of building the mentality with the team, it's not necessarily there. And this is something that I even spoke about with Chelsea, right? Under Poch, you could very clearly see that we, at multiple times during games, we were the better team, right? But we did not have the ability to see a game through. We didn't have, the mentality, the team chemistry, and the culture running through the team of, okay, we're going to see this win through. That's one of the biggest criticisms of Poch, right? Is we would concede late goals. We would concede late draws. And it even happened against relegation sides under Poch. So that's something that I always criticize him for. And I do think that Thomas Frank, given more time, is going to, get better at this. I think another point, speaking about Spurs, it's very, very clear that Spurs need to fix their bench, right? there was a very, very steep drop off when the subs started to be made, right? And this is not attacking Tell, Bergvall, or Archie Gray, right? But the team that was put on the pitch were amazing, right? Were really, really good. But when the bench comes on, it's really poor. And you look at what PSG was putting on the pitch, right? At the same time as what Spurs were putting on the pitch, and I mean it's night and day. And this is something that Spurs obviously need to address in the market. Are they going to do it? I don't think so. I don't think Spurs. I think they're trying to, right? You're looking at trying to bring it in a Savinho. Savinho changes the game, right? If he starts or if you sub him on. You look at somebody like an Eze. Obviously, Eze changes that, but we'll see what happens there. Also, what's good, Adam? I appreciate it. Big up, man. What's good? But yeah, I think that's what I got to say on Spurs. I do think that Spurs are going to be in that top 6 race. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Spurs are going to be as bad, guys. I really don't. As much as I would love to banter Spurs and say y'all are this, y'all are that, they're a lot better. And to be honest, if I'm speaking quite honestly, I'm going to say, me personally, I think that Spurs finish above United. I think Spurs are a better team than United. When I look at Spurs midfield, I think Polina has been a great addition. I think Sarr, if he's playing at the level that he's currently playing at, is good in the midfield. And I think in the Prem, you need to have a good midfield. If you don't have a good midfield, it gets exposed. Look at what City went through when Roger went down, when they had no real DM. Bro, that backline, the City's backline gets exposed, which is why I think City's going to be spooky this year. But we'll talk about it later in the section with the Premier League table. Top 5 next season. Yeah, I do think Spurs are going to be within that 6 to 8 range, right? I think 6 to 8 with United around there, but we'll talk about it. Speaking a bit more about PSG, though, I think it was very clear that PSG has not really seen the pitch at all. Like that PSG team did not have the ability to string passes together, to play at the back, to press as a unit. You could tell that they were rusty. They turned it off for 10 minutes and were able to flip the game. Why? Because at the end of the day, they still have that quality. They're still the team that won the UCL. Me personally, though, I'm gonna just say we might need to take a little diamond tester. You feel me? I might need to diamond test that UCL, because there ain't no way you win the UCL and then you get pumped 3-0 by Chelsea and then you're down 2-0 to Spurs in the final. I'm gonna say, like, bro, people were saying this is 2012 Barca, right? This they could talk to 3-peat Madrid, etc., etc. They were comparing it to insane teams. I do not think it's gonna happen, bro. I just don't think that this PSG team is going to be a dynasty. That's just my opinion. I think they're a very good team. But when people are talking about them in the same sentence as some dynasty teams, I don't know what we're doing here, man. We're overrating it. It's too much. It is too much, bro. But what I will say is I think that Thomas Frank in this game, though, he showed that he has something for bigger teams. He can at least set Spurs up to do something, right? Yo, big up E. And that's what I'm saying, Adam. They were gassing PSG like they were the best team since sliced bread. They were comparing it to the Bayern team. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they're going to be this dynasty team. Obviously, they're going to be a dynasty team in league. All right, they're the only team that's going to win league. Like I have no doubt about that. That's not really ever in doubt. But I do think that when we look at the future of this PSG team, I don't see a dynasty. When I look at the way Barca is going, right? When I look at Madrid, when they figured out, when I look at what Liverpool's doing, City's going to get back to it, right? Chelsea are building. I don't think that PSG are going to be some dynasty team in the UCL. Me personally. That's all I got to say about that. But again, I mean, I don't really know what much else to say. Like, again, Spurs are going to do Spurs things, unfortunately for Spurs fans, right? It seems like the one-off final against the worst United in history was indeed a one-off final against the worst United team in history. But the team has the pieces to compete. They don't have the bench to compete. That's exactly what we're saying. Frank is a good manager, though. And I always said that. I think Frank's a good manager. All the tech and no physicality. Yep. Frank looks like a good manager, but the way he turned up when they got the lead so early, I can see that being an issue. I definitely see that being an issue. I can definitely see that being an issue. And for me, I think another issue he's going to have to eventually answer is, can Frank go up against low blocks? That's a question that I need answered. What does Frank look like against a low block? That's what I need to know personally. Again, we're going to figure it out very quickly in the Prem what that looks like, because I think the Spurs team are probably going to be a lot more respected than they were last season. Last season, every team went against Spurs trying to win, because you could get a win out of Spurs, bro. You could get a win out of Spurs, so there's no reason to not go for it. However, you look at the Spurs team now, you might look at them a bit differently. Managers might start to say, okay, let's sit back a bit more. Let's play a little more of a low block, play in the transition, etc., etc. We'll see. But again, a lot of things left for Spurs to do. not only in the season, not only for Thomas Frank, but still in this current transfer market, they need more pieces. But it is what it is, and I think that's all for the Spurs PSG segment. I don't think there's too much more to say about it. And right now we're gonna hop onto obviously the Premier League prediction. All right, let me get this off screen. Apologies. All right, so obviously we have to talk about the Premier League. So this video is going to be, because I'm doing YouTube, right? So this video, you feel me, is gonna be my Premier League table predictions, right? Again, I'm probably gonna do another one once the transfer window ends and we got a couple games, right? Then I'll do another one. But this is just what I think right now, the 14th. You feel me? The 14th of August is what I believe right now of what the teams are gonna do. All right. So here we go. For me personally, the relegation teams, I'm so sorry to everybody. I'm so sorry for anybody buying into the hype. But unfortunately, I do believe that all the teams that have come up are going to go back down. I'm so sorry, by the way. I apologize. I'm not going to buy into the hype that these teams are going to stay up until I see it happen. Last season, they said the same thing, worst promoted teams. And I think as bad as West Ham and Wolves are, these guys have stayed up in the table, man. These guys have stayed up in the table for an extended period of time. I doubt that they're going to fall out of it. And I need to see more from these relegation teams for me to believe it. I mean, it's been too many times where everybody says, oh, this team's going to stay up, this team's going to go down. And it hasn't happened in a very long while. So I'm so sorry for anybody that is buying into the fairy tale about these relegation teams. I just don't see it happening, guys. That's what I'm saying. You could say, for example, Adam, I agree. Leeds is doing this, right? I think Sunderland is doing really good business, right? But I need to see it on the pitch. I need to see them get results. Because if I see the start of the season that these relegation teams have, and they're struggling to pick up even draws, right? Then I'm going to start looking at it different. I'm saying, okay, what was the point of this? You get what I'm saying? Like, what was the point of doing this? I don't necessarily see it. But I do think if you're going to make me choose, then we're going to talk Sunderland. I would say Sunderland is probably the most likely, in my opinion, to stay up if they were going to. And why would that be the case? Because we're going to get onto the other teams, right? Brother, I think West Ham stink, bro. You feel me? West Ham legitimately stink, guys. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I think West Ham stink, bro. You know what I'm saying? It really is that bad, man. It really is that bad. Word that, man. This is all I got to say about West Ham, bro.
Somebody smell like shit.
Bro, it's bad. It's bad. Yo, big up Star Slayer. But, bro, it's bad, man. And then the other team is Wolves, all right? So when I look at West Ham, bro, West Ham, you could say they have, I think Bowen is the reason that they stay up, right? That's why I think Bowen might be the reason that they stay up. Is he enough to save West Ham like Jordan is saying? He doesn't save West Ham. I could see a situation, though, where he saves West Ham just enough to stay above the relegation sides. That could happen, bro. That could happen, but these guys stink. Potterball, trust me, I've lived through Potterball, man. Look, yo, shout out my boy Mike's. Go check Mike's out on Twitter, man. Look at his Twitter. Look at how he's feeling about the business West Ham is doing, bro. We'll see. But I do think I'm going to put Wolves ahead of West Ham. That's why I look at it personally. I don't know what you guys think, but I think Wolves, I don't know, man. When I look at Wolves, I guess the team did get picked apart, but it's not like the team is necessarily a super aging squad, right? They still have Strand Larson, which is more than I can say for West Ham, bro. Like, I don't see it with West Ham, man. I don't. We will see, though, with these teams, all right? Next, I don't know. I think it's a bit difficult because I think these are definitely the teams that are going to be fighting relegation, right? When we start talking about, right, 17th, 16th, who we think is going to be the 15th place team, that's where I think it gets more difficult, guys. That's where I think me personally gets more difficult. Because I could see potentially in Everton, you feel me? I could see an Everton happening. And I could see a Fulham. I don't know what you guys think. But this is maybe what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, maybe I'll put Everton here. Because I think, listen, remember when, yeah, I know, Brentford is maybe right here, by the way. Because, and this is what I'll say, by the way. Higher mid-table is hardest to rank for me. Yeah, I mean, this is a bit difficult. And this is what I'll say. I think a lot of people are high. Yo, big up Warrior, man. Big up. Heck nah. Yo, Wolves in the, My thing is like, again, and I said this earlier where you can go back a bit in the video. I just, until I see the relegation team stay up, I'm not believing in the fairy tale, man. I've been burned too many times, bro. You know, I think Everton are going to be fine. My thing is, I think a lot of people, for example, are putting Everton here. Like, people are putting Everton 10th or 8th even, maybe fighting for Conference League. My issue is, remember what we said? I think it was like literally the beginning of last season. I love West Ham's business. I love West Ham doing this. I love that they bought this player and they did it. But when it got to actually putting the players on the pitch, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I think Everton are going to do decent, but I think maybe 13th is the highest that I could see it low key. Because then what I think, it could be something like this. I'm looking at Palace. I'm looking at Bournemouth. And I don't know if I say Forest fall off that much. Because Forest, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Forest are trying to do a lot of business. And it's not bad business, bro. It's not bad business, bro. Brentford and up below Everton. That's not crazy to say that, though. That's not crazy to say that. Like I said, for me, Brentford is at the bottom end of this, by the way. So if I'm saying this is like, for example, I'm doing it from right to left, right? So this is 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. You feel me? And then we're going from here. So these are 3 relegated teams. 17, 16, 15, 14. And then I'm going here. I think Brentford and Everton, you could switch them. I'm not going to lie. Yo, big up, David. Big up, man. I think Palace probably ahead. I think Palace probably ahead. Because I think Bournemouth, I don't know, man. Bournemouth lost their entire back line, guys. You like that's tough, man. That's tough. I think Bournemouth lost their entire back line. That's not easy. I'll say this though. I think Brighton is probably at the top of the pack. They might even be fighting for these spots. I'll see how I feel about it. I think Forest definitely fall back down into around this area, right? I think Forest fall back down into around this area because I do think Forest have been trying to do a lot of business, right? My issue is this Forest team has never managed this level of competition, especially, by the way, given the fact that Crystal Palace are going to be kicked out and down into the Conference League and Forest are in the Europa League. Europa League is a lot more difficult, bro. The Europa League is a big step above the Conference League, respectfully. It's a big step above. So we'll see what happens. I think that this could easily be moved, though. Like, I'm down to moving this later on, depending on what happens. Like, I don't think that this is this crazy, though. I don't think this is crazy. I might even be tempted to do this, but out of respect for Forest, I'll do this for now. Yeah, like I said, I think this looks fair. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Okay. So now we go into who do I think is the Conference League spot? The Conference League spot. The good thing is, I could take all these teams out, right? Because I think this is solidified the top 4. So I ain't got to worry about this. Okay. Who do I think misses out? I think I'm doing this. I think I'm feeling this. Okay. I think I'm feeling United here. Okay. I feel like I'm feeling this. I think Spurs finish above United. I think Spurs 100% finish above United. Now the question is, who gets Europa League and who gets Champions League out of Villa? We assuming Newcastle lose Isak. I do think Newcastle lose Isak. That's what I'm saying. Do I think Newcastle get UCL again? I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. I think that they might. I think this might happen, bro. I think I'm feeling this. I think I'm feeling this. And this is what I'm saying, Jordan. For me, Villa is keeping Emery, right? And they're holding on to the majority of their team. So stability-wise, I see them being a very stable side, right? I can't say the same for Newcastle, bro. Losing Isak is losing so many points throughout the season, bro. While they are balancing UCL football at the same time, I do think that they take a massive drop-off this season. I think losing Isak is that big, guys. I really do. I think losing Isak is massive. And it can't be understated. It really can't be understated how massive losing Isak could be. So I think this is what might end up looking like. I do think that United maybe are fighting here, right? You could switch United and Newcastle, and I wouldn't be upset, right? But I do agree. I think Spurs finishing above United for me is a lock on. I think that's a lock. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's a lock. Okay. For me, unfortunately, given the fact that in this scenario, right, we're saying Isak leaves Newcastle, he's going Liverpool. And if Liverpool get Isak, I do believe that they win the league. Because my issue with that is if Liverpool could win the league without this out-and-out gunman up top, I think with Isak, the league is a lock for them, bro. Like, I think it's unfortunate, but I think that that's the case. I mean, Lucas Baleba, that's what I'm saying. End of the window ranking, I was saying, this is preliminary right now. End of the window, we'll see more. Right? We're just projecting right now. But if they get Baleba, I do think that they finish above Newcastle, and you could switch them here. You could switch them. I do think that you could switch them. I think that people are heavily overrating the City team, by the way. I think they're overrating the City team. I think that people are looking at the attack and thinking like everything's perfect, it's fine, it's dandy. Brother, that backline is not good. And not only is the backline still suspect, right? It's not that it's not good, but it's not elite tier, bro. It's not an elite. Like, you know how people spoke a lot about Chelsea's defense, right? Oh, Chelsea's defense is this. Chelsea's defense is that. I think Man City's defense, you can ask just as many questions of their defense. I think you can ask just as many questions of their defense. And this is a big difference, right? Even under Poch, when our defense was really bad, we at least had Caicedo in front of that defense. We had Caicedo in front of that defense, shielding the backline. Rodri is out. Right? That's a big loss. That is a massive loss for City. They do not have Rodri shielding the questionable back line anymore. So now the back line is going to be exposed. I really do think that that's going to be the case. Yo, big up Jose, man. I think that the back line is going to be exposed more often than not. And I do think that City end up fourth, bro. I don't think that's crazy to say. I do not think that's crazy to say. I think City end up fourth. That's my hot take. I think Chelsea end up third, but I do not think that we end up more than double-digit points away from Liverpool. I think we end up 7 to 8 points near Liverpool. I truly believe in my heart that a lineup with Cherki and Aït-Nouri gets tore up. I agree, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Rangers is good, but he is not solely going to defend that backline. He can't, bro. He can't. And Jordan, that's my point. I think that there's going to be a massive gap right here, like a gap this big between the top four and then Villa. I think this top four is going to be super locked on, and Villa's going to be trailing like maybe 10 points even behind City, bro. But I don't know, man. I'm really doubting. Like, I'm not doubting Pep because I do think Pep is a good manager. But I think we saw this season what happens when Pep, even if he's a good manager, he legitimately just does not have the personnel. And they fixed a lot of the issues, right, in attack going forward, and a bit in the sense of creativity in the midfield, right? Because they got the Cherki, they got the Rangers, right? He finally got some decent fullback, right, with Aït-Nouri. But you lost Rodri. The backline is questionable, right? We saw it in the Club World Cup. We're seeing it even in the preseason, right? There are some certain alarm bells for me personally that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, you know what, this City team can be got at. This team can definitely be got at. But for me, I think this is where preliminary right now, as of the 14th of August, before the transfer window ends, this is what I think that the Prem table is going to look like. This is what I think that the Prem table is going to look like, me personally. I think it's going to be a very good title race. I think it's going to be interesting. I think there's a possibility for any of the teams within the top four to really dethrone Liverpool. I think that's a possibility, by the way. I think that's a possibility. But this is my Prem table for now. Y'all can let me know what you think. But for me personally, this is my Prem table. So what y'all thinking? What would y'all move? What would y'all move? What would you change? Damn, I want to change up my table a bit. That's what I'm saying, because I looked at other people's tables. I had some people saying City win the league. I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. So for City to win the league, they need that defense to be super solid, and I don't see it happening. I don't. I think the midfield and the defense is going to be an issue again for City. Not as much. They're not going to go, on like weeks without winning like they did last time, but it's still going to be an issue. It is still going to be an issue. So we'll see. But I think for me, the biggest change is definitely within higher to mid-table and lower mid-table. Like, I think this is definitely move a lot. Chelsea in first, I can't lie. I believe, man. No, I believe we can win the league. I definitely believe we can win the league. But for me to say that we can win the league, I think Chelsea, we need to get by that winter period, man. I have too much PTSD. I have too much trauma. Every time we get to that winter period, something happens, bro. Something absolutely happens. And I need us to show that we can actually hold on in the winter period. I need to see it, bro. I need to see it to believe it. But I do think, and we're going to get onto this later, this is going to be the last segment for the stream, is we're going to look at the first 5 games that Chelsea have and see where we think we're going to end up in the league. Man United 6th if they get rid of Amarin before November. Banana, I don't think they're getting rid of Amarin, bro. I don't. I think they're going to give him at least until January. Minimum. Minimum, bro. They get hypothermia, man. That's what I'm saying. I got Chelsea 2nd. I deadass think our attack is the best or second best. Midfield is the best on earth. I think we'll probably be 1st or 2nd for a while, but we'll get burnout after the busy summer. That's what I think. That's why I think we finished 3rd. I think we probably fall off a bit sooner in the title race than somebody like an Arsenal, just because of the summer that we had. You're crazy. I think they finished 3rd this year. That's a possibility, Santi. And I'm not discarding that. Santi, I think that's a possibility. Winter equals December and January. Yeah, I think the December and January period, I need to see us get through it for me to believe that we're in the title race, because it's been too many consecutive years where it looks good and then we hit that period and it's awful. It's absolutely awful. But I do agree with you, Adam. I do think that we could do what we need to do. It's just that the summer, I think, is going to kill us. I think Joao Pedro will be better for us than Isak at Liverpool. That's one was controversial take. That brother's a genius in attack. I think Joao Pedro is legitimately, like, how do I explain this? If Nicholas Jackson is a Charmander, Joao Pedro is a Charizard. Does that make sense? I think Joao Pedro is just a better Nicholas Jackson in everything. He can hold up the ball, right? He can play people on, right? He can bring people into the game, but he's more clinical. He can score goals. He has a variety of finishes, and he can actually hit the ball, with some vim, with some pace on it. I think if you want to say that Joao Pedro is going to be more impactful in the season than Ekitike is for Liverpool if they don't sign Isak, I could say that. I don't think that's crazy to say that. Great analogy. I think that's what it is, bro. That's literally perfect. That's exactly what I think it is, bro. If Nicholas Jackson just has too many raw things and things that are just missing from his game, Joao Pedro is an upgrade in everything that Nicholas Jackson has, but has things that Nicholas Jackson doesn't. I told you, it's Charmander, Charizard. And we'll start for Brazil. I do think that he's gonna start for Brazil, 100% sure. Yeah, I do think Spurs get to defend the Europa again. Not as crazy to say that. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to say that. I think Spurs are also going to benefit from the fact that, in my opinion, they're probably going to get bounced out of the Champions League sooner rather than later. So they're gonna have a lot more time to focus in the league and actually solidify their position. 100%. I think an interesting conversation is Manchester United. I think that's an interesting convo to have. I think that's an interesting conversation to have, because when I look at Manchester United, right, I think they completely revamped their attack. I can't scoff at Mbeumo. I can't scoff at Cunha. These guys have done it in the Prem. They put up numbers. Manchester United, I think for the first time in many years, will not be owing the Premier League goals, aka they will not have negative goal difference. They will not owe the Premier League goals, which for Manchester United is very big, right? It's a massive thing for them. But when I look at Manchester United, again, I don't think Amarim's system works, bro. It just doesn't move me, bro. The way that they immediately play the wing and just completely ignore them and bypass their own midfield, for me, is an issue. For me, it's absolutely an issue. So when I look at that, I question it, right? I question it. So this is at least this for me. Yo, big up Skynet. For me, this is the Prem table. Now we're definitely gonna get onto the different sections, right? So who do I think is gonna be the top scorer? I think the top scorer is gonna be Haaland. I think Haaland is going to do low key. I think what Palmer did when we finished 6th. I think his goals and his performances in the game, because now he's gonna have Turkey feeding him, right? He's going to have Reinders being able to find him. I think he's gonna have Aït-Nouri as well putting in crosses. I think Haaland is going to have a big goal scoring season. I think Haaland is going to finish as a top goal scorer. That's me personally. I think top assister in the league is going to be Cole Palmer. I think the top assist in the league is going to be Cole Palmer. I can't lie. I think when you give Palmer, players that can actually finish, you give him a competent striker, you give him an upgrade on Nico Jackson that can score goals, I think Palmer's numbers go crazy. That's just me personally. I think Palmer's numbers in terms of assists hit another level. So that's for me, top assister. I think when we look at PFA Player of the Year, it definitely has to be somebody from Liverpool. If Liverpool win it, it might go Salah. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if it goes to Salah or an Isak or a Wirtz. Wouldn't surprise me, because I think if Liverpool win the league, PFA Player, no matter what, always goes to the person that win the league. It's just in my opinion. They always do that. Young player, by the way, and I think you could say young player / surprise player, right? I think people sleep on Esteval. I agree with the chat was saying. I think Esteval is an absolutely sleeper pick, right? I don't think Nueri is going to have a big of a season as people think he's gonna have when I'm looking at young players. But yeah, for me, give me Esteval, bro. I think within a couple of weeks, in my opinion, I think Esteval is going to have that right wing unlocked, bro. I think it's going to be similar to what happened with Palmer, right? Because I think when you have a baller, you see it in practices, bro. You see the way that they link up. You see the way that they move. You don't keep that type of player on the bench. You give them as many minutes as possible. I think, me personally, during the season, in the middle part of the season, when we start getting into the rhythm, we might see Pedro Neto on the left, Esteval on the right. Because I think Pedro Neto is also due for a very good season, guys. That's just me personally. I think Pedro Neto is due for an excellent season. So for me, I'm looking at Esteval, young player. What do I think is going to be the surprise team? I think the surprise team is probably going to be Spurs. I think Spurs is probably going to look a lot better than what people think. Mr. HD, what's good, man? I hope you're doing all right, my guy. So I think Spurs are probably going to surprise people. I'm not going to lie. I think this game against PSG probably showed people that there's a lot more to Spurs than what meets the eye. I think Spurs are going to surprise a lot of people, bro. Because me personally, people usually put, surprise team is going to be a relegation team. Again, I don't believe that the relegation teams are going to survive, man. Me personally, until I have to see it to believe it, man. I have to see it to believe it. I think the underachiever is going to be Arsenal, right? And this is why. I think that Chelsea Football Club is going to win the Carabao Cup. I think this season, Chelsea Football Club, building off the momentum from the Club World Cup, from the preseason, from winning the games at the beginning of the season, we're going to go into an excellent run. We're going to win the Carabao Cup. We're going to break the Wembley curse, right? Furthermore, I think that Manchester City win the FA Cup. I think City win the FA Cup, and I think Chelsea take the Carabao Cup, right? I think Liverpool win the league, and Arsenal are not winning the UCL. So for me, the most disappointing and underachieving team this season is going to be Arsenal Football Club. They're going to finish at best second, and at worst, they could finish fourth. Am I crazy for thinking they could finish fourth? I don't think so. I don't think so. They have a really difficult start to beginning the season. If they get off to a bad start and City and Chelsea gets off to a good start, mentally, the Arsenal players might be shot. You can only keep going without winning for so long. Eventually, the team starts backing up, man. And they start saying, I might give it up. So for me, that's going to be like the team that's going to disappoint the most. Me purse. But all right. I think I went through everything. You feel me? Yo, big up Jojo. So I think I went through everything. I went through I went through who I think everybody's gonna finish in the table. I went through top scorer. I went through all this. So that's that. Right now, August 14th, this is what I think is gonna happen. Again, we're gonna do another one when the transfer window closes and maybe a couple games. We get to see what teams look like, and then we'll talk. You feel me? And then we'll talk. But now, I want to move on to a different thing, right? Let us look at the opening games, at the opening matches. Let's go first 5 matches in the Prem, right? So we have Liverpool Bournemouth, right? As the opener. It's going to be a good game. Yo, Jordan, big up, man. I always appreciate you for being in the stream, man. Big up, man. Jordan's a real one, man. I appreciate Jordan. I think this is going to be an interesting match, right? Villa Newcastle, definitely going to be a good match, right? Because these are the teams that I think are going to be vying for that 5th to 8th spot, right? Tottenham, Burnley, it would be a very Tottenham thing to lose to Burnley, unfortunately. City was away at Wolves. I think City win, bro, personally. Chelsea, Crystal Palace, I expect us to win, right? United, Arsenal is going to be an amazing game. It's going to be an excellent game, guys. Excellent game. This is going to be much watch because somebody is going to leave upset. Either the United fan base is going to lose their mind or the Arsenal fan base is going to lose their mind, and it's going to be great, right? But what I do want to talk about is this. I want to talk, obviously, about Chelsea Football Club, right? I want to look at the first couple matches that Chelsea Football Club have in the Premier League. All right. So let's talk about it. Because if we want to talk title race, if we want to say Chelsea can do this, Chelsea can do that, we need to get off to a good start, right? So August into mid-September, we're talking in the span of 1 month, we're going to play these games, all right? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? I think one of the positives, one of the very big positives, considering the fact that we had a very short summer, we stay inside of London. We do not leave London, guys. There is no travel. You know what I'm saying? It's very quick. Very, very quick. So I think that helps us in terms of recovery, in terms of the players not feeling as tired as they might be given the Club World Cup. Against Crystal Palace, I expect a 3-0, 3-1. I need to see it because last season, I know you guys remember last season against Crystal Palace at home, right? We deserved to win. I'm so sorry. The fact that like it was legitimately, and I don't know if you guys remember this, it was Nicholas Jackson that sold, bro. Nicholas Jackson and Nani Madueke sold for us in the Crystal Palace game at home. They absolutely sold. Also, big up DJ, man. They absolutely sold for us. So I need to see us beat Crystal Palace at home convincingly. Give me a 3-0, a 3-1. All right. Number 2, West Ham away. West Ham away last season, we did them absolutely dirty. And this season, they've gotten even worse. They've lost players, right? They lost Kudus. Players are leaving. They have Graham Potter. I expect us to win. I expect us to win again. A 2-0, clean sheet, right? Fulham at home. This needs to be a win. This is going to be very difficult. I don't think it's going to be an easy match, right? But I think that this should be a win, right? I think that should be a win. Brentford, I think it's going to be difficult. I think Brentford is going to be difficult. But again, I have to do the caveat. Are they going to lose Wissa? That's big for me. But Brentford have lost their manager. They've lost Wissa. They've lost that. So it should be, in the books, a win. For me, these 4 games should be wins. Even West Ham away. I'm so sorry. We won West Ham away last season convincingly, and it was a better West Ham side than we have seen right now. It was a better West Ham side. And I agree with this. I think out of these first 4 games, Fulham is going to be the hardest. I think Fulham is going to be the hardest. Crystal Palace, I think Eze is going to have one eye. Guehi and Eze are going to have one eye on a move away. Crystal Palace didn't necessarily, they're going to be, hopefully, drunk and tired from celebrating the Community Shield. And you look at the way that Chelsea played in the preseason, I thought maybe we'd get off to a slow start where we went off with a bang. You know what I'm saying? We immediately put, rubber to the road. Now, the biggest one for me is this right here. And this is one of the things that I said last season. And by this time, by the way, I had already started my channel. I said this. For me to believe that we were going to be able to challenge for the league, we need to start breaking curses, right? We need to start breaking curses. And one of the things we haven't done in a very long time with amazing Chelsea teams against, awful United sides is win at Old Trafford. We need to get a win at Old Trafford. It's not a matter of, can we, should we, etc. We need to. It really is just point blank period. We need to get the win, guys. We need to get the win. For me to believe in the team, we need to get the win. Do I think? No. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a draw. So the way I'm looking at it, that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 points. However, I think the 13 points basically is going to put us second, I believe. I think we're going to be second or first, depending on what Liverpool do. But I do think we'll end up second with this. Right? I think we'll end up second. So given that we're going to end up second, if we win United, I think we're in a position, we're leading the league. We're league leaders. And I don't see any reason why that has to change, right? Because after this run, if we're first, then we got it's big time. We're moving up to the big leagues. Brighton. We're looking at Brighton. We're looking at Liverpool. Back-to-back home games. That's big. Those aren't Mickey Mouse teams. And I need to see that. I got us picking up 15 points. I got us picking up 15 points too. I can't lie. I think any dropped points in this run is disappointing to me. Any dropped points in this specific run is disappointing to me. I'm not going to lie. If we break the OT curse, I'll be all on the season. And that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, that for me personally, the United Old Trafford game is going to be very important for me, for the mentality of the players, right? For what this team can achieve this season, I need to see the Old Trafford curse broken. That's just me personally. I think we go undefeated till Liverpool, then that'll tell me what's good. I think that's easily a possibility. I think we could go undefeated until Liverpool, and I think that we should. I don't think that I'm crazy to demand that we should go undefeated. We're going against Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, United, and Brighton. We should be winning all of those games. I'm so sorry. We should be winning all of those games. I don't think there's any excuse. I don't think there's any excuse. I think the Fulham game is maybe going to be the hardest because I think West Ham and Brentford have gotten considerably worse compared to when we played them last time, away last season. They've gotten worse. When I look at Palace, I think we should beat Palace at home. We should beat Fulham at home, right? We should win all of our home games. The Liverpool game is going to be the big one because if we do what we need to do and all of these are wins, then this might be decide who goes clear in first. Who gets the first separation first, potentially. That's what I'm looking at. And I think that that's what Chelsea should do. I think that is something that Chelsea Football Club should do. Me personally. There is a team beating any team in the league. Like you said, the Christmas periods are the asset test. And that's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. And again, we also have to factor, and I'm going to do this again, obviously, when the UCL draw happens, we have to return to this list, right? Because when the UCL draws happen, we're going to start looking at, okay, where are we playing the UCL between this game and this game in the Prem, right? We have to start taking that into account. But I do think that, we should be winning. And I think that we should do enough, right? So there you go. Is by attacking us. That fortune is dead this year. Yep. I agree. But I think this is where I'm at with the first 5 games. Like I said, first 4, I need all 3 points from every game. I'm so sorry. The United game, though, I need that curse broken. But if it's a draw, it wouldn't surprise me, man. Curses are there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But I do think we should win all 5, respectfully. Me personally. Yo, Zier, big up, man. Yeah, I'm just doing a late night stream. You feel me? All of the segments, 2 of the segments are going to be chopped up for the YouTube. So if you miss this or whatever, I'm going to be putting it on the channel as its own standalone videos on the channel. But I hope y'all enjoyed. This was like the first of hopefully many, many more late night streams. I'm going to do a lot more late night streams because I think that's easier for me. And I know that it's difficult for a lot of y'all because you guys live obviously in Europe and in other places that isn't the US. So these hours aren't the best for you. But what I hope is, people are going to start, coming to the channel more, and they're going to see that I do late night streams, and they'll watch it on the playback in the morning, right? Whenever they wake up, they're like, oh, RSM did a stream at night. Let me check it out, etc., etc. Or they'll see the YouTube videos that I start making out of these streams. So hopefully that helps. You feel me? But I appreciate everybody in here. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. You feel me? Big up Adam, CFC Gamer, Banana, Santi, DJ, Jordan, who is here, Jojo, Mr. HD, Skyknight, some dude, everybody that tuned in, I greatly appreciate it because this is crazy hours for people to be tuning in. So I'm more likely to be finding you live. That's amazing here. Then I'm gonna start being live around this time anyways. In the future when I'm not able to, do streams during the games. But I appreciate it. Yo, big up Pito too, man. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Got something for the insomniacs. I'm saying it's for the insomniacs or for the people who wake up early in the morning. They see that the stream on the YouTube recommended, etc., etc. But yeah, listen, I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, like I said, I'm gonna upload it to the YouTube. You feel me? So when I upload it to the YouTube chat, also hold on, my bad. Chat is on screen, so you will be able to see your comments on screen. There you go. It'll be, you can be able to see your comments on screen. But listen, shout out everybody who tuned in. Like I said before, I hope y'all stay safe. Hope y'all stay blessed. Obviously, I'm gonna catch you guys next time. For the first game of the season, Crystal Palace. You feel me? I hope y'all take care, stay blessed, stay safe, and I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace out, y'all. Much love. Peace, peace, peace.